The Evil Dead is one of the most influential horror films ever made. Known for its low-budget B-horror charm, a controversial scene involving the woods, unique cinematography, a Book of the Dead that unleashes Deadites, which are those possessed, its gore, and final guy Ash, played by the fantastic Bruce Campbell. The film would go on to spawn 2 remakes, 2 sequels, and a remake. But part 2 is essentially a remake. It had a higher budget, it was campier, and it was just a batshit crazy retelling of the first film. Army of Darkness, a time-traveling slapstick horror gem, and 2013's Evil Dead, a darker reimagining of the original. Creator Sam Raimi actually handpicked first-time director Fede Alvarez for the project. Many fans complained that the remake wasn't campy enough, but I actually loved the unhinged brutality of it. Fast forward a decade, and holy fuck, I can't believe it's been that long. But another entry in this beloved horror franchise has been released, making its way from an initial plan of streaming on HBO Max. They changed the name of it to Max.
Well, I'm convinced, folks, that's pretty much the stupidest thing I've ever heard!
No, this is the stupidest thing you've ever heard.
But anyways, this new Evil Dead movie has risen to the big screen, thanks in no small part to positive test screenings. As a fan of the franchise, and after seeing the Red Band trailer for this, I was super stoked to watch it. So much so that it actually shot up to the top of my most anticipated films of the year list. Now, after watching it, I gotta be honest, it wasn't as good as I hoped it would be. It's not a bad movie, and it's a pretty solid Evil Dead feature, but I was expecting more.
Yeah, well, that's just like, your opinion, man.
Now, before I delve into what didn't work for me, let's talk about what I did like. The sound design of this movie is top-notch. Sitting in the theater, I could hear every glass bite, Deadite scream, and creaks in the walls, so good, it was like I was there. I could practically close my eyes, and it would be like I was in the room with them. That's how phenomenal the sound design was. At least in my opinion.
Subscribe to my YouTube channel, or I'll rip out your soul.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Next, Alyssa Sutherland did a great job as the Necronomicon's Patient Zero. In true Deadite fashion, she terrorizes her family, not only physically but psychologically. Between the pain she inflicts, dark humor, and a demented smile that quickly shifts to menacing terror, as I watched, it became obvious Sutherland, she was having a blast with this role. And although a bit generic at times, the special effects were pretty good. There's a character who starts oozing out a substance from their face, and the visual effects were phenomenal. I don't know exactly how they did it. I'm not sure if it was practical or CGI or, whatever it was. Now, on to the bad stuff. It failed to live up to the hype in my opinion for a few reasons. First, even though the acting was good for the most part, when the carnage ensued, they didn't react the way you'd expect anyone to act in a horrific situation like that. Especially when that chaos is both caused by and inflicted upon your own family members. Sure, everyone reacts differently around death, but still, you'd think that you'd be a little bit more devastated when your loved ones are getting murked around you. Also, Beth, I swear she had a resting bitch face for the majority of the movie. The most emotion we got out of her was when a cheese grater was introduced. Okay, maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration, but not far from the truth. Real life emoji acting aside, she did have some pretty badass moments in the film. Like when she fought some Deadites in the hallway with a shotgun, or when she broke through a fence and used a chainsaw. The next issue, some of the characters will have you screaming like a Deadite at the screen, wondering how they did something that stupid. Now, having dumb characters, it's bound to happen in a horror movie. It is a trope of the genre, but I wish they had dialed that down, just toned down that stupidity and lack of common sense just a little bit. Moving along, the gore isn't as gory, as one would expect from an Evil Dead movie. Don't get me wrong, it has its fair share of bloody grotesqueness, all done to great effect too. However, I do wish they stuck with these moments a little longer. In the 2013 remake, there were quite a few scenes that made my skin crawl because of how long they stuck with the shot. But not really here though. Going back to that cheese grater, it was over almost as quickly as it happened. Like pretty much what you see in that trailer, that's it. It barely stays. Yeah, I think it would have been more hair-raising and effective if the Deadite really dug in, to have enough for second helpings. I probably sound like a fucking psycho.
Wow, it is amazing how fucking crazy I really am.
All I'm saying is, it felt like they played it too safe when they should have been more savage. Finally, near the end of the movie, the Deadites merge to become some type of final boss. Which resembles a Resident Evil experiment or bioweapon. This creature, it wasn't as effective as separate entities. It wasn't as scary because it was slower, oddly enough, and it was a bigger target for a conveniently placed wood chipper in an LA parking garage. Yeah. Now, despite all the negatives with this movie and my disappointment that it wasn't as good as I, hoped it to be, again, it's not a bad film. It does strike a nice balance between the tone of the originals and the 2013 film. And overall, I still had a fun time at the theater. I'm just a little bit nitpicky because I'm such a big fan of the series, a big horror fan, and I love movies in general. So there's bound to be some sort of, critique. It would be unfair to actually just say that everything's perfect. Now, if you're an Evil Dead fan, I would still say this is a must-watch. If you're a casual moviegoer, you could probably wait to watch this on streaming, but if you have the time and the cash to do so, and want to experience a decent horror flick, then maybe check this out in theaters too. As always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and of course,
Subscribe to my YouTube channel.